Hi, welcome to VH1's Top 10. I'm your host, Jasmine Johnson, and today we will be going down the list of the most unethical photos of celebrities. Take a look. This is something you do not want to miss. Let's face it, we all look for celebrities to do what they do. They're cool, they're sexy, they give us that it factor that we want ourselves. We go to them for everything, whether it's beauty, style, grace, fashion. We love what celebrities do. And who can blame us, really? They're pretty awesome. But here comes the tricky part. Are they really as awesome as we think they are? Today we're going to go through a list of the top 10 photos of images I've gathered just for you. You are in for a real treat. We're going to begin with our number 10. Here we have Eva Longoria posing for a campaign for lingerie. In the image to the left, you can see that she is all natural raw. To the right, maybe not so much. Her hair is significantly lighter and her hips are in a few more inches. This is relatively not a big deal. Very few changes were done to her body, and ultimately she's still the same person. Of course, her facial characteristics are defined more, but realistically, it's ultimately the same image. Not much retouching has been done to this image, so it's worthy of being our number 10. Up next, we have none other than the Miss Hit Me Baby One More Time, Britney Spears. Here you can see she's modeling a bathing suit. If you look rather close at her torso area, you can see that a few inches has been taken from her stomach, and if you look further down to her legs, her butt has been lifted and a few of the cellulite dimples have been removed. Frankly, I think this is another one that's very minimal with retouching. Her face is relatively the same. The background is different, but her body is pretty much the same proportions, but slightly smaller. There isn't a major difference in her body from before and after the photo editing. So this is also worthy of being our number 9. Nothing too drastic, nothing too extreme, just right. Up next, we have Jessica Alba. Here she's modeling a guest rumper where she's highlighting and accentuating all of her curves in the right places. To the right, you can see the original image. Very nice, right? To the left, also very nice. Her hair now seems to be blowing in the wind, and a few inches have been taken from her waist. The inches here can obviously accentuate the outfit more, which is totally understandable. And the background has been completely changed. There's no longer red doors, but instead an landscape piece outlooking a pool. Seems pretty nice. Very minimal editing, again, very tasteful. Next, we have number 7. Check her out. Hot stuff, right? The image to the right is obviously the digitally edited one. It's definitely more toned, and even the color effects add a more dramatic effect. But check out that chest. How did we go from a double A to a double D? This is something that's always happened in our culture. I guess the beauty of having big breasts is being translated into this image, which is totally unfair because little girl sees this and they think that's beauty. But realistically, to the left is what she really is, and this is just as beautiful to me. Number 6, check out this plus size model. You can tell she's very proud about who she is and what she is, but most importantly, how she looks, and she feels good about it. But that wasn't good enough. Check out the image to the right. Her body has been digitally altered. The roll of her skin is no longer there, and she is significantly smaller than she is in actual life. This is a proud plus size model. Why is her body being altered? Is there a need to be thin in this culture? Of course it is. This is obviously being showed here. The fact of the matter is, there are people who look like the image to the left, and they should be proud and feel beautiful just as much. Although originally an actress, she has definitely earned her spot as number 5 on our top 10 countdown. After her GQ magazine cover release, Kate Winslet was completely upset that her complete image was digitally altered. Her face was significantly smaller, her legs completely longer, torso smaller, and just overall dissatisfied. She could not find what was wrong with herself. She thought the original pictures were just fine, and they probably were. But the bottom line is, our society values long legs. We see long legs as a sign of beauty, and thus GQ wanted to represent that on their cover. Regardless of whether or not that was Kate Winslet, they did what they needed to do. And as a result, Kate Winslet does what she needs to do. She is now an advocate for a positive body image for girls all over the world, so we can recognize what real beauty is. For this to be a women's health magazine, there sure seems to be a whole lot of digital editing. Here, take a look. Her stomach, well, that's not her stomach. Her stomach is significantly smaller here, and her clothes are tighter. Her breasts seem to be larger, with a smaller waist and larger hips. But if this is a women's health magazine, shouldn't the health matter? Shouldn't it matter what her real body looks like? For the issue to claim to help sculpt sexy curves, well, I guess it's easy to do with a mouse. It's a women's health magazine encouraging us to be hot, sexy, sculpted, with beautiful curves, yet the photo is not realistic. It's not a real woman. How can we do this? How could this possibly ethically be okay? Our number 3 is the one and only Beyonce Knowles. As a huge fan of hers, this is very difficult for me to do, but it's just gotta be done. Beyonce, a black woman, beautiful black woman, is oftentimes whitewashed in her images. Her skin is significantly lighter than her actual shade. Although she is a lighter shade of the African American spectrum, somehow her skin manages to always be lightened even further. White skin or even light skin is something that's idealized in Western culture and society. It's this idea of cultural ambiguity. But doesn't that mean we all get lost in the shuffle? Does that mean that women of color have to be forced to blend in and become lighter shades? Which isn't possible. Leads us to thinking that beauty is only one color, and that's not the case. Like a virgin no more. Our number 2 is Madonna. Yes, she is definitely an icon of history, music, fashion, and pop culture, but this image has made her 20, maybe 30 years younger. Age is something that we should fall into gracefully in love, but we've been taught at a very young age, especially women, that beauty is something that needs to be captivated when you're young and you need to attain your youngness as long as possible. This is an image of Madonna where she doesn't even no longer look like herself. The veins and the wrinkles from her skin have been removed. Her nose has been refined. Her eyes have been brightened because she's now older. Her skin's becoming dull. The image effects put on this image have allowed her to glow in many aspects. And of course, it may be for art or for the overall campaign. But the fact of the matter is, older women looking at this and seeing the new standards of beauty. Madonna, a 50-year-old pop singer, doesn't even look like that. So what is beauty now? And finally, ladies and gentlemen, our number 1, born this way, Lady Gaga. Well, not quite. The image to the right is the original footage from her Vogue fall cover, and to the left is the final product. Somehow, the dress has magically appeared to fit all of her curves magically so well, it redefines beauty. But that's not real. But people look at these images and think that's beauty. Those measurements are beauty. The hourglass shape has been idealized in our culture for quite some time now, but many of us don't have that shape. Lady Gaga doesn't have that shape. This image has been distorted way too much. Celebrities grace the covers of top magazines for us all to adore. We stare captivated by their beauty because these women are simply stunning, hoping to one day be just that beautiful. But the truth is, the women in these images aren't even that beautiful. Their photos have been digitally manipulated and publicized to us. The controllers of media have redefined beauty, its measurements, its skin color, cup size, and face shape. Meanwhile, regular people like you and I struggle to achieve the same results at extreme costs. Media constructs reality. By setting the standards of beauty, the public feels the pressure to meet those standards. Using the utilitarian approach, we will consider the amount of retouch, target audience, and extent of cultural constructivism to count down our top 10. It's time to knock down these walls and redefine true beauty.